All right, family. Black Power is the truth hour with General Sara, Seti. Kick back, get your mind ready for some information that's guaranteed to be heavy. That's right, family. We're in the house once again. Is on. Once again is on. Is going down this Sunday. We coming on your pagan holiday. That's right. We decided to come on your pagan holiday. America is Egypt, Mississippi River versus the Nile. Debunked. We know no better opportunity to wake the people up on it than a pagan holiday. You know you wide open for all this, but you ain't when you get this information right here, goddamn it. Whoa. You see what I'm saying? This could be an electrifying time of your life to wake up out of the misery that you in and get the truth for once and for all. And that's right. So the link is in the video description. We put down a heavy presentation preview earlier today. We'll get on them tomorrow. We ain't gonna beat them too bad. You know what I'm. We gonna have mercy if we can. You understand what I'm saying? We're gonna let them surrender if they can. Other than that, then we'll have to go all the way in. That's right. So, family, click that link. It's in the video description in the chat room. Click that link. Begin to think. That's right. Ring the alarm, y'all. GeneralSeti.com. I was about to come with the general. It don't make no difference either one. You feel me? Ring the alarm, KingSeti.com online marketplace. That's right. Official General Sara Seti DVD lectures. Let me get it up here for you, family. We got the DVD lectures. As a matter of fact, we got 20% off at this time. 20% off at this time before you even shop. You're already looking at 20% off. I mean, there's waiting on you, family. Plus, we got the products that you want. You know what I'm saying? The products that you love. So come on over there, check us out, King Seti. We got the DVD lectures, T-shirts and hoodies, African and Kemetic jewelry. We got that for your family. We got the Pharaoh heads. We got the sisters medallions. We got West Africa Oba. We got the Naga Kushite, the cosmic talismans. We got the onks, the all-seeing eyes. Get over there, check us out. We know you're going to find something you like and love. Holistic herbal tonics and remedies. We also got home decor for the family, accessories for every room in the house, living room, dining room, kitchen, bathroom. We got you. KingSeti.com. And you know it's the truth. That's right. Pull the fire alarm, y'all. Pull the fire alarm. GeneralSeti.com. Seti University. Talking about over 900 video presentations on African history, heritage, spirituality, nation building, mental warfare. What else we got? Black economics, education. We got the Creatures from the Caucasus library, video library, and catalog. We got when Kimmy Ruled Earth video library and catalog. We got just so much. It's unbelievable. Now, and you already know they filed, so we ain't even got to go on about that one. And so you already know, General, that's who are the seeds of the devil on earth. That's one of them ones that's just too raw for you too. You feel me? You got to throw that one right on GeneralSeti.com if you expect it to stay up there. You see what I'm saying? And so what we got highlighting on Patreon at this time is where the video. There you go, right there. Lilith, Queen of Hell, Chief Goddess of the White World. Very powerful information. Need to know it for somebody throw a hex on your ass and you don't know it. Goddamn Lilith be on your ass and you don't know how to get off for you. So the best way, don't get on you, nigga. You know what I'm saying? And so when you hear them cold words, you know to put the wisdom of the ancestors in there. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? And that's, because there's a lot of love and light. But you don't know that all light ain't divine, so you better watch it. That's right. And make sure you subscribe to all my YouTube channels, King Seti, General Seti, Sara Suten Seti. Rock that notification bell. Give a video a thumbs up. Like it because you love it. Share it with your family and friends. And comment. Just don't say nothing stupid. Because I will ban your ass. You'll be up out of there. Boop. All right. We're getting into it. Why ancient Egypt is the greatest civilization ever. No competition. No competition. You see, we playing games out here. We playing games out here. You know, when you talking about the first modern nation on the planet. You see, when we talking about a modern nation, okay, we're not talking about when you was in a hut, you was in a tent made out of camel skin or goat skins. We talking about structures. You see, we talking about structures. We talking about architecture. You see what I'm saying? When you're talking about cities and you're talking about, cities that been planned out. You see what I'm saying? You're talking about cities that been planned out. You got roads. You got your city, you got your city section off. Then you got a blueprint where you got your living quarters over here. You see, you got your herds over here. You see, you got fishing canals and all this that been laid out based on blueprints and so on. You got your centralized area in the city, which they call a downtown. So we talking about the first modern nation. And so though Egypt is ancient, it is the first modern nation on the planet. That's just what it is. That's what it is. And so we can get out of the uh yes, it was. Kush was, but Egypt is just, the megalithic, the physicality of Egypt. See, that's where Egypt got over everything. The physicality of Egypt is just so overpowering. You understand? For any other nation to try to compete with Egypt. You see, and it's really the physicality of Egypt. You see, where you can retrieve the spirituality. You see, because it's on the walls that you find, the documentation of the spirituality. You see, it's on the walls. And so the physicality of Egypt, and see, people gonna make light. People gonna make light of that because they don't have it. You see, when you go in, you go to other nations on the planet, you see. As a matter of fact, let me get some things in here. Yeah, let me get some things in here. We got what you need. Straight up. We don't play no games. Let me get some physicality up in here. So you see, right, and no matter what people can say, you see that when Egypt sat it down, they meant for their nation to last forever. See, you can be hypothetical about other nations. You can't be, it's some things that doesn't, it won't need any type of interpretation. It don't need any type of interpretation. It's standing right there before your eyes. You see, and it's gonna have an impression on you. Whether if you ever read a book, it never read a book. If somebody never ever told you about Egypt, if somebody was to bring you to Egypt and put you in front of it, there will be an impression, a lasting impression that will be brought over you. You see what I'm saying? That does not require another person to interpret it. You see? And so that's the thing about Egypt, that it doesn't require, you see, interpretation. You see, some of it does not require interpretation, meaning it don't need nobody to explain, because it is the effect that it will have over the person. You see, is all powerful. It is all powerful. And so the thing that make Egypt, because you understanding that it is the first modern nation, but yet it started back so long ago. You see, it started back in the BC period, but every element that's in society today, in the nation today, come out of ancient Egypt. See, this is what we're talking about. So when we talk about, and I see people, they out here discussing, talking about the Bible and, this, that, and the third, all of that shit is fairy tale. It ain't one thing in the Bible that was ever standing. So you don't have to look for it because it was never there. You can look for it, but it was never there. There's not nothing in the Bible that was ever constructed ever that's standing because it was never built. Okay, and so that's why and so when you got a myth going on, and you over there, see, you digging and shit, you digging for nothing, but it seems like you doing some archaeological work. Them people over there know they ain't gonna find shit. They know they ain't gonna find shit. You see, they've been digging over. See, the thing is, Egypt is topsoil. Yeah, there's some things under the ground, but the megaliths on top then already proved the point. See, that's what I'm trying to tell you. See, we don't have to dig up everything else. Is just it could be a great find, it could be a great scroll, it could be a great tomb, but we've already found great tombs. We already found megalithic tombs. So to find one more, we didn't already come to the conclusion that Egypt is the greatest civilization, and there is no civilization today that has not borrowed from ancient Egypt. Not one is standing today. Not one civilization on this planet, you see, is standing without some science or some form of art, culture. You see, wisdom, morality, spirituality that has not been handed down by ancient Egypt. Period. You see, because the fact is that when you talking about you say, ancient Egypt, all of it is in the BC. So to be this advanced in the BC period, in majority of motherfuckers ain't even even a 25th of the level of the Egyptian. I said a 25th of the level of what the Egyptians is on today. You see, this is another thing that makes Egypt the greatest civilization in the ancient world. You see, because of the fact that its presence is solely in the beat. Well, we understand that the spiritual essence is forever. It's forever. You see, in but the monuments that were established on this planet at that time, all in the BC. There is no other civilization on the planet. I'm not talking Greece, don't count. They ain't got enough to bind. You see, Greece didn't come until Egypt was over. You see, you don't even start talking about the Greeks until they come into Egypt. All that Athenian or Socrates and Plato, and that's garbage. You see what I'm saying? That was mythology written thousands of years after any of them so-called philosophers were thought to be alive. They were thought because they were never alive. They didn't have no presence at the time in which they said that they live. And what I'm saying is, when you see Khafra's pyramid right here, Khafra had a presence in the time that he lived, because he left a monument that's still standing here to this day. And after all the niggas that's standing on all the corners talking about a Bible is long gone and went on to see whatever God they say they praying to, this pyramid will still be here 2, 3, 4,000 years later, shocking the minds of the world. See, that's the one thing about Egypt, that it transcends time in its original state. We're not talking about, majority of these civilizations out here, they didn't have to plaster them damn, you go to the Americas and they had to work on them pyramids. Them pyramids wasn't right. They had to work on them. You see what I'm saying? They had to work on these pyramids. Would still be perfectly intact if it wasn't for the scavengers that went over there and peeled the outer casing off the pyramid. You see what I'm saying? So when you start talking about no other civilization, you see, no other civilization, you wouldn't even have nothing that you had today. You see, nothing what you had today. Organization. The Hebrew Israelites were goddamn goat herders out in the desert. They didn't know nothing about no damn nation. They didn't know nothing about how a nation was run until they come up into Egypt, until they come up amongst the Africans. We don't believe in no Hermetic or no Shemitic or none of that. All of that, all of that is fairy tale characters. You see what I'm saying? That created still a legacy of African people. Implant a fable in place of the truth to steal the legacy. You understand? And if it wasn't even for the Egyptians, the so-called Hebrew, the Indian, or no other motherfucker on the planet would even have a damn alphabet. The same alphabet that you see, the sounds to letters, was first invented in Egypt. You don't see, we invented paper. Okay, well, you don't know where else do you see paper? You see paper come from papyrus. And so and that's the greatest invention ever created on the planet was paper. Motherfucker talking about what they wouldn't even have paper. You goddamn it, you hear mythology where motherfuckers wrote on goat skins, and they ain't writing on no goddamn goat skin. We are the Africans. We invented paper. We invented books. So there would be no Bibles, no Quran, and anybody that look at the alphabet, can see that the Arabic and all of that was taken from the Hieratic, the Hebrew, and all of that bullshit was taken from the Hieratic. They did not have no damn language. And I'm gonna stress that again. Even the Bible speaks to that. The Hebrews didn't even have a goddamn language. It was called the language of Canaan. You cannot find no book. When you talk about books and you talk about the Hebrew, and we're going to talk about the Hebrew. You understand what I'm saying? To get on the Hebrew. You understand what I'm saying? That they didn't have no books before Moses. They didn't have no books before Moses. Okay? And so when it says that Moses was learned in all the wisdom of the Egyptians, and he was mighty in word and deed, said he was learned in all the wisdom of the Egyptians. He wasn't learned in no Hebrew because they didn't have no Hebrew. Okay? It was never called Hebrew. They might could speak, but they couldn't write. They might have had some gibberish that they spoke, but they didn't write. Okay, because nobody else has ever been documented, even within the line book that they call the Bible, that the only person that was credited to writing anything was Moses. Okay, it says, and Moses was learned in all the wisdom of the Egyptians, and he was mighty in word and deed. And so we got to understand, by the time Moses had came along, these pyramids right here, you talking about Moses was supposedly in the 18th dynasty somewhere. You see, you talking about around 1600 BC. These pyramids right here was constructed around, well, this is Sneferu. This one was constructed around 2600 BC. That you talking about, you talking about clearly over a millennium before Moses was born. You see, and that's a fairy tale that I might add. So you see, there is no comparison between a so-called goat herder and the gods. And so when you start talking about why ancient Egypt is the greatest civilization, because of the things that they left, the capabilities. If you greater, then you should have a greater capability. Okay, I don't understand that. And not only the capabilities, and we talking about at the time that they were constructing, all sciences in Egypt was on the same level, whether it was astronomical, whether it was medical, whether it had to do with shipping, building ships. You see, whether it was tombs in the ground. It don't make no writing. 3 and 4, 5 alphabets nobody's talking about. The Hebrews didn't even have one. You see? The Hebrews didn't even have one. And so most of what they talking about morals, they ain't now one of their prophets was moral. Okay, you know what I'm saying? You see? And so Egypt lasted for over 4,000 years, and there's no way they could have lasted that long being an immoral people. No way. Immoral people don't last that goddamn long. Them civilizations come crumbling down far too quick. You see, it takes morality. It takes being in harmony with the universe. You see, to last for eternity. See, and so when you go to Israel, all they got is some dizzy Disneyland makeshift temples, and saying, oh, this is where Abraham, there's some bullshit. Ain't nothing in there. You can dig all that shit up. These is makeshift. The damn Arabs put all that shit over there. It wasn't even no Jews in it. The Arab put them temples over there. That's why you go to Temple Mount in the Arab, it was already in the land. You see what I'm saying? They was already in the land. And so the Jews came right in and built on top of the Arab. You see what I'm saying? So they didn't have no damn and the oldest artifacts in the land of Israel is Egyptians. There's no proof. There's more proof that the Egyptians was in the land than the so-called Hebrews. Okay, so we want to stress that for a fact. We talking about right here Imhotep, who built the first structure, still standing, 2700 BC, and that's by the Cro-Magnon. It could be far older than that. But since they're trying to force fit Egypt into the Bible, you understand what I'm saying? And they say the Jews had something that the Hebrews was in Egypt slaving and built some of the greatest monuments that ever existed on the planet, which is a lie, because it was clearly stated that they was in Goshen, that they was forced to be in Goshen. They didn't, you can't take a million dumb motherfuckers and build nothing magnificent. Each one, whoever worked on that pyramid that you see right there in front of everybody, even the brother sweeping the goddamn floor had about 5 PhDs in ancient science, African science. Even the motherfucker sweeping the floor out there had 5 PhDs in African science. You see what I'm saying? So you can't take no slaves and build nothing like that. So you can get that up. You can't take a million ignorant niggas and do nothing. Okay, and think you know. And so you just like you need skilled tradesmen today to do anything of any megalithic scale. You understand what I'm saying? This is what constructed Africans. You see, Africans. And so you see, you talking about, you know, you in to come together in unity. See, you ain't gonna get nobody. They say, you know, they try to put, you know, salt in the game, say Khufu enslaved. You ain't gonna get no slave to build that good. You see, you got to be in love with what you building. You got to feel like you're a part of this, that this is for your king, this is for your God. You see, this is for your people. That's the only way you're gonna get people to build to perfection like this. They're not gonna build like that if they mad and no, they ain't gonna do that. They ain't gonna do that. So this was you know, Egypt, and it showed that we could come together in unity. And another thing for me that what make Egypt is not just the megalithic aspect, the physicality. People talk about the spirituality, but the physicality in the consistency for thousands of years is this is the goal. You feel me? You see, when it comes to civilizations, there's no doubt. You see, and I'm saying that you know, and you know, we don't want to get that misconstrued. Egypt is the GOAT, straight up. You see what I'm saying? And ain't lacking and can't be taken in no area by no other civilization. You see what I'm saying? And I understand Kush is the mother, and I include Kush with Egypt. I don't separate them. So when I say Egypt, when I say Egypt, I mean Kush and Egypt. You see what I'm saying? That's one bloodline for as far as I'm concerned. You see what I'm saying? So I don't leave Kush out. You see, because when you go into Kush and then you add, it's just, you know, you talking about 1,000 miles of continuous mind blowing. You cannot go nowhere on the planet. Nowhere on the planet where you just gonna sail down a river and you can go 1,000 miles from one end to the next and find mind-blowing artifacts. You see, and really it's unfair to compare Egypt to anything. It's unfair to compare the Nile Valley to anything. It's unfair. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's when you understand that this is all in the BC, I don't give a damn what you ain't beating that. You ain't beating that. And you sitting right here, you got Khufu right there. Then you got Khafra. Then you got Sneferu. Then you got Imhotep. Even the flaws, man. You talking about, this is right after Imhotep. This about 2670 BC. The flaw. You see, the flaws is still standing. You see, ain't nothing can beat that. At 2670 BC, and could be older. You ain't got nothing. There's nothing in that right there alone. That right there alone is greater than any other goddamn cathedral on the planet. You understand what I'm saying? Just the simple fact of how damn old it is. And it's still standing. What is y'all talking about? It's unfair. Because the thing about Egypt, it ain't just what's above, it's what's below. You see what I'm saying? You might say, well, okay, but damn, when you go up under there and see that damn tomb up under there, you see what I'm saying? That could very well be totally intact. You see, totally intact. Ain't no comparison. You see the flaws when you talk about Meidum. Man, that pyramid is megalithic. You see, that pyramid is massive. I was next to it. It's massive. It's mind-blowing to believe that our people could put things together like that. But it's true, because I've seen the documentation. You see, and when you talking about Egypt, unlike any other civilization, it inherited knowledge that had been coming from up the river. You understand? Hundreds of thousands of years old. It was the inheritor of that. You see? And so just as, as the knowledge came down the river, it's saturated in Egypt. You see, that was the bottom, and it's saturated. All the African greatness came down that river and saturated in Egypt. You see? And so we got some great civilization. How you gonna be greater than this? How? And be serious. And the crazy thing, we're not talking about the alphabet. Egypt took the world into literacy. We talking about education. We talking about literacy. You see, the world was, Egypt made the world literate, able to read and write. You didn't have no books. Greece ain't got no books. Israel ain't got no books. Rome ain't got no books. The Indians swear they can compete with Africa, but they weak. They ain't we ain't talking about the Naga Kushites. We talking about the Hindu over there. They weak. They can't compete. They think they can, but they can't. They ain't got nothing that could touch none of this. They got some temples over there, and I give them credit, but they can't touch none of this over here. All the ours is in the BC. All of it. You see? The majority of the Hindu temple, the ones that was African in the southern regions, they destroyed them. They're trying to hide the facts because it was too much African on the walls. So they tried to hide the facts. You see? And so you see, when you talk about Abu Simbel, and I seen a video where somebody said 10 civilizations greater than Egypt. Nigga, please. You just talking out nigga. I thought crack went out in the 80s, man. What the fuck is going on? You see what I'm saying? They ain't got nothing in comparison. And you can go on and on and on, man. Egypt got at least, listen, we just talking about Egypt got at least, and I'm being honest. Egypt has at least 100 megaliths. And I'm just saying that because shock the world. Just like this, at least 100. Now you got some that didn't, but I'm talking about pristine. You see what I'm saying? Egypt got at least 100 that'll shock the world, and niggas ain't even got one. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm sick of people trying to denounce because they hating. They hating on the great mother, the great daughter of the great mother of ancient Kush. You see, that's what's happening today. You know, and if your civilization only lasted a couple hundred years, you ain't in the running. You see, you ain't in the running. You ain't in the running. And the thing is, you know, when you add all of when you add all the data together, you see, when you add all the data together and you add the civilization of Kush along with, you know, they know that the Nile Valley civilization is well over 10,000 years old. Well over it. That's, and when you say 10,000, no, when you look at these artifacts, how do you think our people was able to construct these artifacts? See, that's where the lie is tainting your ability to reason. You see, our people had already been functioning tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of years. This is the climax. You see, we done came to the climax of ancient African history, and there's nobody else on the scene. There's no Greece, there's no Rome, there's no India. There's a misunderstanding where people try to equate India and China. There was no India or no damn China on the scene at the time of ancient Egypt. So we got to stress these facts and we got to be clear about them. You see, you know, and one of the most crucial aspects of what Egypt gave the world, along with writing, was institution. You see how you can establish, you know, government. You see, an institution, you need an alphabet. You see, you need an alphabet. You need records. You keeping records now. You see, you're printing up educational material for the students. You got university systems. You got faculty. You see, you're organizing an institution. You got faculty. You got a calendar. You see what I'm saying? You know, it's just like when you go to school, you look up and look at your calendar and you understand, you know, the days you got to be in school. You know what time you got books. You got pen and paper. You got an alphabet. You got a dictionary. You got encyclopedias. This is the first time in history where you have institution on this scale. So anywhere in the world where you see a book and paper, it must be taken back to the origin of where it started from, and that's in ancient Egypt. Everybody else, you got the Mesopotamians. They scribbling in little clay cookies. We not, you know, you can look at the little clay cookies that the Sumerian, we're not reading no clay cookies. We turning books. Okay, they say some of these other goat herders, they was writing on goat skin. We're not writing on no goddamn goat skins today. You can turn 100 pages. You can't turn 100 goat skins. You see camel skins. Ain't even had no damn alphabet. You see what I'm saying? And so if you see motherfuckers, if you see a Hebrew, a Muslim, whatever, a Hindu in school with some paper, you see, because I seen they was writing on wood and shit and all this. They didn't have nothing on the level which you can goddamn find writing everywhere in Egypt. They wrote on everything. Everything. It wasn't nothing they didn't write. You can look right there. They wrote on everything. You see, so that just lets you know our people had a lot to say. You see what I'm saying? And so, you know, and so that's very key. That when we talking about, so when we looking and you trying to, like I say, bringing children or whatever, adult, it don't make no difference. the impression that Egypt will have on a person is just overbearing. You see, it's all powerful, and no other civilization can do the same. And I was in Ethiopia, they same thing, all powerful. You see, it's a continuation of that. I don't separate Ethiopia and Sudan and Egypt. I don't separate it. That's all one. And when you put it all together and you go from Ethiopia, you understand, into the Sudan, and many times they were one nation anyway. You understand what I'm saying? Under certain rulers, that they were one coalition all the time. You see, if they had to go to war, then they would come together as one people and fight that war. It was never where the brother turned his back on a brother nation or a sister nation. So the family from up the river always came down, you understand, in coalition to defend Egypt, or defend the doorway into Africa. You see? And so we see, and so there's no way you can read, you can philosophize and all, and that's what you're gonna have to do. You understand what I'm saying? For the simple fact, you don't have no proof of shit other than a good sermon. And so you got to be the best goddamn preacher in the world, because when it comes to just having topsoil evidence that could speak for itself, you're totally lacking in that as a culture and as a civilization. And I had to just say that. You see what I'm saying? That's why when you read the literature of everybody else on the planet, you know who they keep in their mouth? Egypt. Egypt. Whether the Greek, whether the Hebrew, whether the Roman, you see all them. Egypt was the fountainhead of every civilization in that part of the world, and everywhere else, an extension. So when people say, "What nigga do you got a book in your hand?" Then goddamn it, you that's the extension of ancient. If you got a book in your hand, that's an extension. If you got an alphabet, it was the Africans that invented the alphabet. You see what I'm saying? That alone, goddamn it, is what developed the world. Writing is what developed the world to where it's at today. When you look up what is the greatest invention of all time, the greatest invention of all time is writing. Writing, period. You wouldn't have shit today without that. Nothing. The number system, if you wasn't writing and able to calculate and put on, you wouldn't have nothing that you had today on the level that you got it. You see what I'm saying? So family, I want to, thank you for being in here today. Make sure y'all reach out there and click some of them links. Begin to think. We getting down this Sunday. And I see I'm gonna have to ride out on this horse, and more often than not. You understand, to make sure that I'm crushing everything out there, adversaries, and like I say, I send. It won't be long. It won't be long. Of course, we had machinery. You think we picked all them damn blocks up and shit? They had machines. Shit, they have machines. They have machines. Believe me, and they, not in the sense of how but they are machines. You see what I'm saying? And so that's how they put a lot of them damn blocks, with machines. You think they wasn't carrying that shit on their back? You see what I'm saying? All right, family, we got another hard one coming up right quick. Y'all be in the house. This is the General Sara, Suten, saying, hey, arm yourself with knowledge. Bang on that wicked ass beast. Daily liberation through African education and confrontation. Black power.